Hey, Wellspring Tech team. So excited to be doing service review again. I know that we have had a lot of breaks in the last couple of weeks where we'll have to do it and then we'll not do it and then we'll do it again. And hopefully, I'm going to be able to get back into the rhythm of doing this consistently. But I'm excited to be doing this one specifically because it's the first week of At the Movies. For me, this is my first At the Movies with Wellspring. I've done it before at other churches, but with Wellspring, this is my first one. And so I'm very excited. First of all, this past Sunday, 2 days ago, or yesterday, really, for me at this point, um, I thought it went really, really well. I was super excited to have everything just work perfectly. And I thought that the team that we had yesterday just did an amazing job, seriously, all around. Um, but the whole point of these obviously is for us to do better. So I'm just going to dive into it and kind of point out and talk about some things that I think we as a team can improve on. Um, and as always, I just want to point out that none of this is intended with the intention of calling anybody out or making anybody feel bad specifically. That's why I don't name names, anything like that. But we are trying to do better, and so these are just things, just in general, points that we can all take in, just to be aware of for the next time that we're serving, to kind of try to be a little bit more polished and do a little bit better of a job next time. So, again, before I start, service really, really was great yesterday. So super excited for it, and I'm really, really excited for next week. But yeah, let's just get into it. The first thing that I kind of want to talk about is I'll just let this play as I talk. Is a very generalized thing. Is that there was a lot of shakiness and jitteriness on cameras this week, and so as camera operators, just try to make sure that what you're doing is smooth and steady, as to the best of your ability, as best as you can do it. Obviously, I know sometimes um, there's issues with the tripod or it sticks or whatever, but just as best as you can, try to make your camera movements as smooth as possible. It can be really jarring if that's the only way that you're experiencing service, and we have that kind of movement. The second thing I wanted to talk about, which you probably just saw in the video a second ago, is transitions. And so our switchers, this is mainly for video directors, but our switcher has the ability to do lots of different effects for transitions. And if you notice here, just watch when it switches to the next camera shot, and you'll see what I mean. But we're using, and I know it wasn't intentional, but we're using this diamond effect transition where when it transitions to the next camera shot, it has this diamond kind of animation coming from the center of the screen. And it's just one, we aesthetically, it's kind of outdated and we don't really love it. So I want to avoid that. Um, in order to do that, video directors, when you're looking at your switcher, most of the time it will be set automatically for you. But if you do notice the transition is wrong, look for the button that says mix. There's a bunch of buttons next to each other. There's a mix button, a dip button, um, a couple of other things. I can't remember what they all are, but the mix transition is the one that directly fades from one shot to another, and that is the only thing that we want to use, is using that mix transition and using just hard cuts. Personally, if we're just talking in general, I prefer hard cuts. I don't really like fades or mixes at all, but if we're going to be fading, I want it to be just the straight fade. I don't want we don't want the animations or anything like that going on. So make sure that your transitions are always set to mix, and we will be good to go there. Um, Positive thing though, this week's shots had a lot of movement in them, lots of panning, lots of fading, lots of pushing and pulling out, and I think that that's great. I love to see dynamics when it comes to our shots. So the more movement we can incorporate, the better. You can see that or that dip transition again. Um, but yeah, the more we can be moving around, the better. That said, when your shot is live, we don't want to be transitioning from one movement to another after your shot's already live. So if you're doing a zoom in on somebody, or if you're pushing in on the subject and they transition to you while you're doing that push, once your push ends, let's not start a pan at that point. Let's not pull out at that point. Once your movement ends, that's your movement for the shot. Let's wait until you get clear to kind of set up for another movement. We can do movements at the same time, so you can kind of pull out and pan at the same time. But once you're live, let's not do a pan where we switch to you, you're a static shot, and then you start panning. We don't really want to do that. We want movements to be in progress as we switch to them. It just makes for a better experience. And then also, shots like this, where we kind of are panning off to the side here, and see if I can find that timestamp again. But it's kind of shots like this where we're kind of going off the edge. We want to switch off these pretty quickly. This is part of a panning shot, and we don't want to stay on these once our subjects are out of view. So in my opinion, this is already a bit too far as far as how long we wait to switch off of that. This week we also did baptisms during second service. So these were kind of incorporated into our shots as we were going live here. And one thing, or two things about this. One is that our shots tend to switch off of the people being baptized too quickly. So once they get baptized and come up out of the water, we can wait on that a couple seconds, give people time to clap and praise and all that kind of stuff. We don't want to immediately just jump off of that. There's plenty of time to include the other shots in the cut. And then as well, the other thing is, so at this point here, there's nothing happening. We're not actually being baptized at this point, and the shot was still used, and there was no point to having this shot here. So when we're doing these baptisms, let's just try to avoid using the shot unless someone is being baptized, but you don't need to cut off of it immediately the second that it's over, the millisecond that it's over. We can hang on that for just a little bit longer. This is an experience that we want the entire church to be able to experience with the people that are being baptized. And
sorry, I don't understand.
If we're cutting that out, then that we're kind of just missing that. So sorry about my Siri there. I will say a couple of really good things. Audio online and in service both sounded really, really great. So good job to you, audio guys. I really don't have a whole lot of feedback for you as far as this past Sunday. There was a couple of minor things, but overall, really, really good sounding audio. So good job, guys. Also, our transitions from, in pretty much every service, from worship into the At the Movies video was great. Everybody did a really good job of just following with the producer, hitting their cues. CG, lights, video, audio, everybody did a great job. So I just want to praise you guys for that. It was really, really good. And then just some nitpicky things here. I promise I'm almost done. We haven't done a service review in a bit, so I kind of am getting this out of my system here, I think. But so at this point in the service, Lanisa is introing MC, and she's kind of doing the welcome moment where people are about to grab their seats and people are greeting each other and all that great stuff. And at this point in service, I'll play in a second. She walks off the camera. She's not on camera, and we don't follow her. And we kind of end up panning to the left of the stage, the opposite direction of where she's going, and just wait for her to re-enter the shot. So I know this is kind of a weird moment. We're not really sure what to do here. I would say we have two options. So video directors, here's your two options for this part in service. One, if the MC is kind of in a spot where you can do it realistically and doesn't walk off the stage like Lanisa did here, then you can track them and just follow them and keep them in the shot. And two is to go for some crowd shots where you can see the congregation mingling and talking to each other and stuff like that. If you do that, though, just be ready to switch back to the MC as soon as they begin talking again. So have a camera on standby for that. But you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. So she kind of goes off the edge. And then we kind of start to follow her, and then we pan back. So let's just either keep them in the shot or get a good crowd shot for the moment. And then she'll come back on and do her whole thing. The very last thing is that on a couple spots we had some CG slides that were a little bit too early as far as when they were triggered for lyrics and worship. But realistically, that's okay. It's better than being late. So if you're going to be a little bit early or a little bit late, just on the side of caution, be early. I would much rather people see the lyrics a couple seconds too early than not see them until we've already sung half of that slide. So overall, guys, really, really good service. Super happy with the way that the first week, the opening week of At the Movies turned out. I'm super excited to see how the next one turns out. And so if you're scheduled for next week or even the following weeks, just prepare yourself for just a different service flow than usual. If you didn't serve this Sunday, it was a little bit different in terms of the way that we did production. So yeah, we're going to have practice on rehearsal like normal. So if you guys want to be there, rehearsals at 6:30 on Thursday night. We can all get some extra practice in. It never hurts. So I'll maybe see you there, but if not, I'm sure I will see all of you guys on Sunday. So thanks, guys.